Welcome back. We are delighted now to be joined over the telephone by our guest for the afternoon, His Excellency Ambassador Hussien Hareedy, the former Assistant to Foreign Minister. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon, madam.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your time this afternoon. Now, let me just start straight away by asking you about the session held today at the Arab Parliament, the fourth plenary session of their third legislative term, and the Speaker of the Arab Parliament, Adel Abdelrahman Al-Assoumi, stressed many issues during his address. Could you tell us a bit about some of the main issues that stood out to you, Your Excellency?
Definitely the main issue is the ongoing war that Israel has launched against Gaza.
Yes.
And now it's the 232nd day of the war, and no end in sight of this war, and the Israelis are not interested in a permanent ceasefire. So this is the main question facing not only the Arab parliamentarians, but the Arab world and Arab countries, particularly Egypt. And of course, and then the order that was issued yesterday by the International Court of Justice, demanding that Israel cease its military operations in Rafah. Thirdly, the International Court of Justice asked Israel to allow for the delivery of the humanitarian assistance and to open up all the border crossings that link Gaza to Israel that were closed early October last. And last but not least, the importance of reaching a permanent ceasefire in Gaza and the reconstruction of Gaza.
Indeed. Your Excellency, of course, we saw today Assoumi stressing the importance of the call that was also issued by the 33rd Arab Summit held in Bahrain to hold an international conference under the auspices of the United Nations to resolve the Palestinian issue, of course, on the basis of establishing an independent Palestinian state with Jerusalem as its capital. How do you see this call, and how feasible do you think it is, Your Excellency?
Well, of course, everyone is talking about an international conference for peace in the Middle East, and how feasible it is, I doubt it very much, madam, because neither the Americans nor the Israelis are interested, at least at the present time, in holding such an international conference. As far as the American administration is concerned, it has called for direct negotiations between the Palestinians and the Israelis. So I guess for the foreseeable future, the American administration, the United States of America, would favor the resumption of direct negotiations between the Palestinians and the Israelis. So, of course, the chairman of the Palestinian National Authority, Mr. Mahmoud Abbas, has already called for the convening of an international conference for peace in the Middle East. But I guess taking into account the war in Ukraine, the tense situation in the Taiwan Straits, I doubt very much if the international community is ready now to organize such a conference. Having said that, organizing such a conference would be very, 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 very difficult. So now the most immediate thing is that we stop the Israeli aggression in Gaza. Secondly, to agree on who will run Gaza after the Israelis withdraw from there. And thirdly, how to link this with a political solution to the Palestinian problem. In other words, to implement the two-state solution.
Absolutely. Your Excellency, Ambassador Hareedy, now I want to ask you, sir, how do you see, the Rafah operation still a go, regardless of the ICJ ruling? and still the Palestinian people are facing a genocidal war.
Well, I guess the Israelis have said lately that they are going to continue with their military operations in Rafah. And as of this morning, Israeli tanks are advancing toward the center of Rafah. And you may recall that last Monday, the Israelis took control of the Palestinian side of the Rafah crossing, and they hosted the Israeli flag on the side. So, and this makes it all the more difficult to get humanitarian assistance into Gaza. So the military attack by the Israelis is going in Rafah, and the Israelis have said that they want to have security control on the Rafah crossing and all over Gaza, at least for the next 10 years. So whether this is a negotiating tactic or whether this is true remains to be seen. But however, the fact of the matter is that the Israelis haven't changed their mind of not controlling Gaza and let the Palestinian Authority govern it. So this is the main obstacle now. Who would be in charge of Gaza once the Israelis leave out of there?
Mm-hmm. Your Excellency, finally, how do you see, the increasing international recognition of the state of Palestine as reflected in the resolution of the UN General Assembly, as well as the increasing number of countries that have recognized Palestine, most recently Spain, Norway, as well as Ireland? Do you see this as exerting any sort of pressure on the Israeli occupation forces?
Definitely. It's applying pressure. And the isolation of Israel on the international scene is increasing, growing by the day. And let's see how the situation will develop in the next few days. Yesterday there was a phone call between President Sisi and the United States President Joe Biden, and they discussed many questions relating to the situation in Gaza. And as far as the Rafah crossing is concerned, the American president promised to work out arrangements between Egypt and Israel to operate the Gaza crossing. In the meantime, President Biden thanked President Sisi for allowing aid to flow into Gaza through the Karam Abu Salim crossing. So, and then they talked about working on new initiatives for the release of hostages, as well as an immediate and sustained ceasefire. So let's hope that these efforts would succeed and bring about a pause in the fighting in Gaza.
Indeed. Right. Your Excellency, Ambassador Hussien Hareedy, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you very much, sir, for your time and for joining us this afternoon on Al TV International.